All right, 5 years later, was it worth it? I think so. I definitely think so, yeah. I would do it again. What did I really get out of college? I think probably the thing I got the most out of college was a lot of growth internally, as well as, discovering what I was passionate about. If I could tell my 18-year-old self something, what would it be? I'd probably say, there's a dog showdown going on. Oh, look, you can see him. This one's not phased. I don't remember the question. If I could tell my 18-year-old self something, what would it be? I think it would be just to get out and make as many friends as I can, because I think for me, that was probably like the most memorable thing about my time here, was the friends I made along the way, all the different people I met. Classes were great. They were super helpful in many different ways, which I think I'll have a question or two about later, but I think, just talking to people, that's the best part, making friends. Do I feel as though I have lived up to what I imagined back then? I think what I imagined back then is not even close of how life goes. I don't know what I was imagining back then. I wanted to work in film, or I wanted to work in entertainment, which is what I did. I worked in the film industry for a little bit before transitioning to teaching, but I feel like I had very lofty, unrealistic ideas of what I wanted to do back then. I probably should have talked to more older, wiser people, more professors, gotten their opinions, and just more even like TAs or anyone older than me I met in an internship. I should have talked to them more, and I should have asked them this same question. That's what I should have done. Because you come into college thinking one thing, you enter thinking a totally different one, and then once you're in the real world for a bit, you're like, wow, this is different. I forgot a letter. What did UCLA actually teach me beyond the classes? I think it just taught me how to think. That's probably it. Taught me how to think, really probably how to chart my own course. I think that's a big one. How to be independent, chart, yeah. I think it did broaden the ways, I think. But I really do feel that, I think it also taught me that school's not everything. I feel like there's a big emphasis on school, but I think also really important to look at what's after school, as well as what other factors are going to contribute to your overall happiness after school as well. I think living a balanced life is really important, which is not emphasized in college, or not when I was there. Which classes do I still think back to? This is probably an easy one. My favorite class was probably my last quarter, which was the first quarter during COVID, in the US at least, which sucked. But history of animation was awesome. I loved that class. I took that last quarter here. I loved history of animation. What else was another good one? Film authors was really good. I loved most of my communications classes. The professors were interesting. It was film authors, where we studied Catherine Bigelow and Spike Lee. That was like, that blew my mind. That really was my first foyer? No, foyer is the entrance in a house, I think. Learning about those two film authors was like, the sun's hitting my eyes. Learning about those two film authors. So Spike Lee, which is just really awesome, artsy, meaningful sort of films, and Catherine Bigelow, which is like really good war films. That's I feel like those are like their two big themes from each of them respectively. Oh man, it blew my mind. I thought that stuff was the coolest stuff ever. Made me want to go into entertainment more. Working in filmmaking made me want to go into entertainment less. And what was my favorite communications class? I don't think I had one. That was my major, communications, but I don't know if I had a favorite communications class. Nothing's coming to the top of my head. I think maybe perhaps just communications 1, comm 1, public speaking. There's some very passionate students taking photos over there of Powell, which is the main library, the big one. It's talking about forced perspective. These guys. They're very passionate about it. You know, that's probably one of my favorite things about just being back here. I'll just go for walks if I'm ever in the area at UCLA. Campus here is beautiful. It makes you want to try hard. Walking around here is great. It's kind of a lot of stairs, a lot of hills, but it's so beautiful. I don't remember where I was going with that. Okay, back on track. What is something UCLA taught me the hard way? You know what it taught me the hard way is that you should not work too hard. Don't burn yourself out. You need to find the right balance. You need to work hard enough to do well in classes and to get internships, but you can't let working too hard pull down, or drag you down in other areas of life. If you start doing bad in other areas of life, then your academic or professional life is also going to go down. So, oh my goodness, it is a tricky balance. You cannot just power your way through everything. Did that in high school and did that a little bit at UCLA, and then you realize this is not sustainable. What was my first real job after UCLA? I guess it was perhaps Marvel Studios. Oh, hey, but it was a long journey to that. I mean, when I graduated, like I said, it was during COVID. It's not a great time to graduate, and no one wanted to hire anyone to do anything. So I ended up doing an unpaid internship for almost a year, and that internship got me to my first film set. And I was also doing TV commercials for elderly people medication. It was not glamorous and it was not fun. So did smaller stuff, which eventually helped get me over to Marvel, solidify my role there. But yeah, being the lead PA for corporate Marvel, that was like my first job. But oh, my clock's wrong. What time mode is it? I think it's either 5 or 6. I think it's 6. We're gonna find out right now. The number of bells is gonna tell us, I think. It's gotta be 6, right? Guess it's 5 p.m. I thought it was 6. This is crazy. But that was my first super big time thing after UCLA. What was working at Marvel Studios like? Oh, there's an ant on my... There's ants all over my bag. It's okay. I'll let them live. What was working at Marvel Studios actually like? This is really a better topic for another video. I would say it was good and bad, fun and hard. Ultimately, in the long run, I knew it was not a role I wanted to stay in. And I have now pursued something far more meaningful. Why did I leave my dream job? Why did I leave my dream job? Well, there are so many reasons, but I knew it wasn't. I think I might have said that in the last question. It just wasn't what I knew. I didn't want to be doing that long term. And I tried a few different things in between Marvel and teaching. Oh, not easy. Not easy. I worked for a Japanese fruit company, and I almost moved to Japan. I worked in a Chinese bakery. There was plenty of stuff going on in between. So, what did that teach me about success? Leaving my dream job. Leaving my dream job, pursuing teaching. I think it taught me that, success is not about having like a fancy job title or working for a fancy company. It's much more about, I feel like, the meaning you pull from it, the intrinsic value you have about the work you do. Marvel is good in a lot of ways. Yes, like you're helping make movies that are going to uplift a lot of people, and I think set good examples. And it gives a lot of kids, someone to look up to. They might not have a person to look up to, but they might look up to Captain America, for example, or something like that. But you do not feel that impact on the day-to-day, and there's so many other people who go into that. As a teacher, you're responsible for usually over 100 people, just yourself. And I feel like you feel that impact every second, and that impact is so powerful. And I feel like you can set the example you want to set. You can set the example you want to set for students, You can also really teach how you want to teach. The freedom and the control is really enticing, but I think the best thing about it is the students and just talking to them, interacting with them. It is such a blessing to be able to witness the creativity of young students, as well as help them, be creative and learn, and seeing them grow is the best feeling. I sound super cheesy, but I'm on a cheesy path. Lots of mozzarella and cheddar cheese, I'm gonna move this again. Moved it too much. When did I realize I wanted to be a teacher? Not right away is the answer. When I started teaching, oh my God, there's so much fun things going on. When I started teaching, I hated it. It was the worst. I feel like when I was in high school, I was like, who wants to be a teacher? And then once I started teaching, I was like, yeah, this sucks. And then one day it clicked, and I've truly appreciated it ever since. Every day I'm just so grateful, truly. As corny as it sounds, really so grateful that I'm in this role. And I feel like if you're lost, try it out. I think it's for me, it shocked me. I was, even once I was doing it at first, like I said, not so great. And then it clicked, and one day I was like, this job is the best. I was so wrong. I was so wrong. I'm rotating again. Is the sun. This tree's not giving me optimal coverage. Maybe if I go this way. Go this way. Oh, so much better. They're losing it over there. They've encountered a dog. Oh my goodness. That's a cute dog. The campus is so lively. I mean, today's a Saturday. Like, there's not even students around. I feel like that's what I'm talking about. Like, the campus is great. Every time I come here, just phenomenal every time. My answers are deviating a lot from the questions. I'm not doing a good job. I think I'm doing an okay job of answering the questions, but I'm adding in a lot of tangential points. Do I see connections between what I learned at UCLA and how I teach now? This is a question I wrote before making this video, and I did not think about it too much until now. But probably, let me assess. I think so, because you know what I did? I did marching band. And I was a section leader for the tenor saxophones for 2 years. And that really developed my sort of mentorship role, which is like, I carried that into a whole bunch of different jobs, but especially teaching. And I probably still incorporate that foundation from marching band into my teaching. Probably, just small little aspects. I've grown a lot since then, but I'm sure there's something there. What did campus feel like when I was a student? It felt big. It felt so large. It felt like there were a million people, because there basically are. And it felt like I could do anything. It felt like there were so many different possibilities. I will say, because it's so big, sometimes hard to get individualized sort of care that you would get at like literally any other school, because this one's massive. It might be the biggest in the country, world. There's a lot of students here. No, but it felt nice walking around. It felt like everyone here or most people are so similar to me, and that was really cool. I think that was probably the best feeling, walking around feeling like you'll be friends with so many people. If I could relive one UCLA moment, what would it be? I don't think I would relive like a singular moment. I'll be greedy and I'll say I got a bunch of small ones. But I think just moments where I was talking with people who I lived in the dorms with, or maybe my apartment roommates, friends from class, friends from different clubs, friends in marching band. I think it's all just people. Maybe professors. There's a couple professors. That public speaking professor was cool. Some of the film professors I think were probably cool. Who else? No. Yeah, I think it's really all just like, I think it would just be talking to people. Because you'll never meet this many people again, and you'll never meet this many people your age who are just as who are so similar to you. So yeah, I would just, if I could go back, I would just start talking to people like there is no tomorrow. Boom. How has my definition of hard work changed? It has changed astronomically. I feel like hard work before was me like grinding, you like just having like always being on the grind with academics or with trying to get the next internship or job, and contributing all of my energy to that. Hard work now is taking care of myself to make sure I can do all the academic things I want to do, all the professional things I want to do, any life goals I want to do, because life is so much bigger than school, but you do not realize it, because even in college, you basically your whole life is just school at that point. Even in college, and it's not until you graduate college where you're like, oh, there is so much to do. At least that's how it was for me. But hard work now is taking care of myself and making sure I'm all good. What's something I failed at that actually helped me? Well, you cannot, for UCLA, you can't apply as a incoming freshman into the communications major. That's what I really wanted to major in, but you have to apply once you're here. At least that's how it was when I was going here a few years ago, 5 years ago. So I got rejected. So in between my freshman and sophomore year, I applied, got rejected. In between my sophomore and junior year, I applied and got rejected. And in between my junior and senior year, this is my last shot, by the way, I finally got accepted. So I failed twice, but I didn't give up. And I guess I don't know if that counts as failing then. I failed, but I pivoted each time. I wrote about totally different things, I think, in my essays. In my personal life, there's a lot I feel I have failed at, but I think that's okay. I think you need to fail if you want to find the right things and if you want to ultimately succeed. There's some sort of quote where it's like a winner is just someone who fails 9 times and gets up 10. And it's cheesy, but it's also kind of true. I feel like failing is okay. I feel like students now, I feel like understand this more than they did when I was a student. Things just feel healthier now. I guess pursuing filmmaking is something that I failed that ended up really helping me, because I discovered a place where I'm way happier. How do I feel about prestige now after being in the real world? I feel as though it does not matter at all. Basically, right? I love UCLA. I love my time here. If I would come here again, or if I would choose a different school, I would come here again. 100 times out of 100. But there's just so many other doors, especially with social media. You can just discover so many different jobs now than I feel like you could before. Like job research before, it's kind of hard, but now you can just hop onto TikTok, type in any sort of job you can think of, and you'll find those jobs as well as similar ones. With the rise of AI, there's just so many resources to figure out what you want to pursue now. But going back to prestige, it just doesn't matter. There's so many other things that matter in life, and I really wouldn't worry about prestige at all. Would I still choose UCLA if I could do it again? I think I said this earlier. Yeah, 100%. I would say though, I would do it again, but I would do it differently. Like I said earlier, I would just go back and talk to everyone I could find. I would talk to so many people. I think the most at home I've ever felt is probably while at UCLA. Everyone here was just really, really like me. That's what I felt like. It's, they weren't necessarily, but it's what I felt. What am I still working on? A lot. I'm still working on so many things. I think earlier I mentioned making sure I balance life and take care of myself. Those are probably the things I'm working on the most. Figuring out ways to do that best. Yeah, because I'm pretty happy with my professional growth right now. I'm 5 years out, had some cool experiences in filmmaking, right? And then pivoted to something else. I did some small fun things in between. I think that's great. This is actually another good point to mention. It is okay to change your mind. Oh my goodness. I feel like people have this expectation where they need to have everything figured out when they graduate. That is so not true. Just go out and do something. Just go out and experience something, experience a job. Even if it's not what you want to do, you will learn something for sure. And you might end up liking it. I mean, and it is so okay to change your mind. It's hard, it's not easy. Sometimes, you know, to pivot, not easy at all, but it's totally okay to change your mind. And it can often be a good thing. Would my younger self be proud of me? I think if my younger self knew of everything that was to come, yeah, 100% he would be proud of me. I don't think my younger self would even be thinking about I just want to know. I want to know about all the things that are going to happen in life. 5 years out of college, I just would have no idea. And I feel as though this might be part of the value of this video, is that it's like I'm giving context to my previous self, you know, people who might be in college now. I am trying to give the perspective of what it's like 5 years out, because you have all these thoughts in college or right when you're going to college, and even when you're graduating. But then 5 years later, totally different. So would my younger self be proud? Yes, definitely. All right, if you have made it this far, I want to say thank you so much. This is the end of the video. I want to genuinely take a sec to truly thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching it all the way through. I put a lot of effort into it and a lot of thought. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope you watch some other of my projects as well. Thank you so much for the support. Take care. Until next time. Bye-bye.